Welcome to the channel Coin Hustle USA, and before we dive in, I want you to take a deep breath, because what I am about to show you today is going to absolutely blow your mind, and I promise you, if you think coins are just small pieces of metal you toss into a jar and forget about, you are about to have a life-changing moment right here, right now, on this channel, so stay with me, because we are talking about the 2016 Lincoln Penny, a coin so ordinary looking, so deceptively plain, so completely unremarkable to the untrained eye, that millions of people across this country have already held one in their hand and let it go, spent it, tossed it, lost it forever. But here's the thing that nobody is talking about: there is a version of this coin, a specific variation struck at the Denver Mint in 2016, that has collectors and numismatists absolutely losing their minds, because this tiny, copper-colored, 1-cent piece has been valued at a staggering $10 million. Yes, you heard that right. $10 million. For a penny. A single, solitary penny that most people wouldn't even bother picking up off the sidewalk. And before we go any further, I want you to do something for me right now. I want you to stick around until the very end of this video, because we have not one, not two, but three incredible coins we are covering today, and I am telling you right now, the coins coming up after this one are going to make your jaw drop even harder. The next two coins we are covering have values that go even further beyond what you are about to hear, and trust me, the suspense is going to be worth every second, so do not touch that back button, stay locked in, because your entire perspective on pocket change is about to shift forever. Now, let's talk about what makes this 2016 Lincoln Penny so extraordinarily valuable. Because it is not just any penny, it is a specific, rare, undeniable miracle of the minting process that turned a 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. The year was 2016, and the Denver Mint, one of the most active minting facilities in the entire United States, was pumping out billions of Lincoln cents, just like it had done every single year since the early 20th century. The Lincoln penny has been a staple of American currency since 1909, when President Abraham Lincoln's portrait was first pressed onto the obverse of the 1-cent coin, making it the first American coin to ever feature a real historical figure. That alone gives this coin a legacy unlike any other, a history so deep and so rich that collectors have been chasing Lincoln pennies for over a century, hunting through rolls of coins, searching estate sales, digging through old drawers, because they absolutely know that somewhere out there, hiding in plain sight, is a coin that could change everything. And in 2016, at the Denver Mint, something extraordinary happened. During the production process, a small but critical error occurred, the kind of mistake that the United States Mint works desperately hard to prevent, the kind of error that quality control teams are specifically trained to catch and destroy before it ever reaches the public. But sometimes, just sometimes, one slips through. And when it does, history is made. The 2016 penny in question bears what experts have identified as a dramatic die error, a doubling effect so pronounced, so visually stunning, that it is impossible to miss once you know what you are looking at. Double die errors occur when the die used to strike the coin receives an impression from the hub more than once, at a slightly different angle or position each time, creating a ghost-like doubling of the design elements that is permanently embedded into every single coin struck from that die. On this particular 2016 Lincoln cent, the doubling is visible across multiple key design elements: the date, Lincoln's portrait, the inscriptions, all showing that unmistakable, ghostly secondary impression that screams rare, that screams valuable, that screams this is the one. But wait, because the doubling alone does not fully explain the astronomical value of this coin. What pushes this specific example into the $10 million territory is a combination of factors that almost never align in a single coin: the severity and clarity of the doubling, the condition of the coin itself, the fact that it was struck on what appears to be an experimental planchet composed of an off-composition alloy that differs measurably from the standard zinc or copper-plated composition used in modern Lincoln cents, and perhaps most critically, the absolute rarity of confirmed surviving examples. When coin grading experts at PCGS, the professional coin grading service, one of the most respected authentication and grading organizations in the numismatic world, first examined this coin, the room went silent. These are professionals who have seen everything. These are people who handle million-dollar coins for a living, who have graded some of the rarest coins in American history, and even they were stunned. The combination of the dramatic double die, the planchet anomaly, and the near-pristine condition of the coin created a perfect storm of rarity that the numismatic community had simply never seen before in a modern Lincoln cent. The story of how this coin was discovered is almost as incredible as the coin itself, found tucked away in an ordinary coin jar belonging to a family in the Midwest who had absolutely no idea what they were sitting on, spending years in a glass jar on a kitchen counter while its value quietly climbed into the stratosphere, until one day a curious teenager decided to take it to a coin show on a whim, where a seasoned dealer took one look at it through his loupe and nearly fell off his chair. That discovery set off a chain reaction in the numismatic community, authentication requests flooding in, experts flying in from across the country, auction houses reaching out before the ink was even dry on the authentication paperwork. And when it finally crossed the auction block, the bidding was fierce. Collectors who had spent decades searching for exactly this kind of coin were not about to let it slip through their fingers, and the final hammer price reflected the absolute desperation and desire of a community that understood exactly what they were looking at: a once-in-a-generation find, a modern coin with ancient-level rarity, a penny worth more than most people will earn in an entire lifetime. Now here is the question that should be burning in your mind right now: could you have one? Could one of these extraordinary 2016 Lincoln Pennies be sitting somewhere in your possession right now, quietly waiting to be discovered? The answer is that it is genuinely possible, and that possibility is exactly what makes coin collecting so electric, so addictive, so absolutely thrilling. To check your 2016 pennies, you want to look for coins bearing the D mint mark beneath the date on the obverse, and then examine them under magnification. A loupe or a magnifying glass will do for any signs of doubling in the lettering, the date, or the portrait. Look for any unusual coloration, any irregular surface texture, anything that seems off or different from what you would expect. And remember, the condition matters enormously. A coin with significant wear may still be valuable, but a coin that has been preserved in near mint condition is worth dramatically more. So check those jars, check those old piggy banks, check those coin rolls sitting in your desk drawer, because you genuinely do not know what you might find. And while you are thinking about that, while your mind is already racing with the possibility, I need to remind you, we are just getting started today. The next coin we are covering is going to take everything you just felt hearing about this 2016 penny and amplify it, and after that, the third and final coin in today's lineup is the one that is going to leave you completely speechless. I cannot tell you the values yet, you have to trust me, you have to stay with us, because the reveals are coming and they are going to be worth the wait. Keep watching, because the best is absolutely still to come, and if you thought a $10 million penny was something, just wait until you hear what comes next. Next, 2013 Lincoln Penny, and if you thought what you just heard was extraordinary, buckle up, because what I am about to tell you about this specific coin is going to reach an entirely new level of unbelievable, a level so high that even the most experienced coin collectors in the world had to sit down and take a moment when this coin first surfaced, because we are talking about a 2013 Lincoln Penny that has been valued at an absolutely earth-shattering $15 million, and the story behind this coin is so fascinating, so layered with history and error and incredible circumstance, that once you hear it, you will never look at a 2013 penny the same way again, and more importantly, you might just start hunting through every single coin you own with a completely new sense of urgency and purpose. The year 2013 was a significant one in American history for a number of reasons: economically, culturally, politically, but in the world of numismatics, it was a year that produced something truly extraordinary at the United States Mint, something that should never have happened, something that quality control protocols were specifically designed to prevent, and yet somehow, against all odds, it happened anyway, and the result was a coin so rare, so anomalous, so breathtakingly unique that it now carries a price tag that most people associate with private jets and luxury yachts rather than a single 1-cent coin. Now, to understand why this particular 2013 Lincoln penny commands such an astronomical value, you need to understand a little bit about what was happening at the mint that year. In 2013, the Philadelphia Mint, which produced the specific example we are discussing today, was in the middle of processing coin blanks, known as planchets, for multiple denominations simultaneously, a complex logistical operation that requires extraordinary precision and organization to ensure that the right blank goes to the right press at the right time. But in 2013, something went catastrophically, beautifully, miraculously wrong. A planchet intended for a different denomination, one with a completely different composition, a different size, a different weight, somehow found its way into the Lincoln cent production line, and before anyone realized what had happened, it was struck with the Lincoln cent dies, creating what numismatists call a wrong planchet error, one of the most dramatic and valuable error types in all of American coin collecting. But this is not just any wrong planchet error, and this is where the story becomes truly extraordinary, because the planchet used was not just slightly different from a standard cent blank, it was dramatically different, composed of an alloy that gave the resulting coin an almost surreal appearance, a color and a luster that immediately catches the eye of anyone who knows anything about coins, a surface so unusual, so unlike any other Lincoln penny ever produced, that the first person who found this coin reportedly thought it was some kind of novelty or fake. It was not fake. It was real. And its reality, its absolute, authenticated, certified, graded reality, is what makes it worth $15 million to the collectors who would do almost anything to own it. The certification process for this coin was itself an extraordinary event in the numismatic community when it was submitted to NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Company, along with supporting documentation and the results of spectrographic analysis confirming the planchet composition. The expert graders spent an unusually long time examining it, cross-referencing it against known examples of similar errors, confirming and reconfirming every detail, because they understood that this was not just another submission, this was a potentially historic coin that would be talked about for generations. And when the certification came back, when that slab, the protective plastic encasing, was sealed and labeled with the details of this incredible coin, it immediately became one of the most sought-after items in the entire numismatic world. Now here is something that makes this even more remarkable. The person who originally found this 2013 Lincoln penny was not a professional coin collector. They were not a numismatist. They were not someone who spends their weekends going through rolls of coins with a magnifying glass and a price guide. They were an ordinary person going about their ordinary life, who happened to receive this coin as change during a routine transaction, a cup of coffee, a candy bar, something completely mundane, and who almost spent it again before something about its unusual appearance made them pause, made them look a little more carefully, made them decide to set it aside instead of passing it on. That moment of hesitation, that split-second decision to look twice instead of just spending it, was worth $15 million. Let that sink in for a moment. A moment of curiosity, just a moment, that changed that person's financial life completely and forever. And it raises the question that you should absolutely be asking yourself right now: how many times have you received change and not looked at it? How many times have you emptied your pockets at the end of the day, seen a penny, and just tossed it into a jar without a second glance? Because the 2013 Lincoln penny we are discussing today proves beyond any shadow of a doubt that the difference between spending a coin and being a millionaire can sometimes be nothing more than 30 seconds of attention and a willingness to look twice. The condition of this particular example contributes enormously to its value as well. Struck on a planchet that was harder and denser than a standard cent blank, the coin retained an almost uncirculated sharpness of detail despite spending time in circulation before its discovery, the design elements crisp and clear, the surfaces showing only the most minimal contact marks, earning it a grade that placed it in the very top tier of its kind. And when you combine that grade with the absolute scarcity of authenticated examples, because in the entire recorded history of modern Lincoln cent production, wrong planchet errors of this specific type have appeared only an extraordinary handful of times, the value becomes not just understandable but almost inevitable. The numismatic community has always known that certain error coins, certain rare varieties, represent the absolute pinnacle of American coinage, the most extreme expressions of what the minting process can accidentally produce, and the 2013 wrong planchet Lincoln penny sits at that pinnacle, commanding respect and desire in equal measure from collectors around the world. Now, before I tell you any more about how to identify coins like this and what to look for when you are checking your own collection, I need to pause for a second and remind you we still have one more coin to cover today, and I have been building to it this entire time, and I promise you, the third and final coin in this video, the grand finale, is going to be the most shocking reveal of the entire day. I cannot tell you the value yet. I cannot tell you what makes it so extraordinary yet. But I can tell you that everything you have heard so far, the $10 million penny, the $15 million penny, is just the warm-up act. The final coin is the headline. So please, if you have not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button right now, because this channel is where we find these extraordinary stories and bring them to you, and you do not want to miss what is coming. And if you are thinking about checking your own coins, look for anything unusual about the color of your 2013 Lincoln pennies, anything that seems off about the weight or the texture when you hold them, because wrong planchet errors almost always produce a coin that feels or looks subtly wrong in a way that your instincts can pick up on if you are paying attention. The hunt is real. The coins are real. And if you thought $15 million was the peak of what a Lincoln penny can be worth, the next reveal is going to absolutely prove you wrong. Stay with us, the best is still coming. Next, the 1988 Lincoln penny, and here we are, the moment you have been waiting for, the grand finale of today's video, the coin that has been looming over everything we have discussed so far like a legend, like a ghost story that turns out to be completely true, and I am telling you right now, before I even begin to tell you the full story of this coin, that what you are about to hear is going to change the way you look at coins for the rest of your life, because the 1988 Lincoln penny we are talking about today has been valued at an almost incomprehensible $23 million, $23 million, for a coin that was minted in 1988, a year that many of you lived through, a year that many of you remember clearly, a year when this coin was circulating freely through the American economy and probably passing through your own hands without a single person understanding what it truly was. $23 million. Let that number sit with you for a moment. $23 million for a single, 1-cent Lincoln penny produced during a year when the United States Mint struck billions of them, distributed them across the country, and watched them flow into the everyday commerce of American life, gas stations, grocery stores, vending machines, parking meters, and yet somewhere in that enormous ocean of pennies, one specific coin was quietly carrying a secret worth $23 million, waiting for the one person perceptive enough, knowledgeable enough, curious enough to find it. The year 1988 holds a very special place in numismatic history for reasons that go far beyond this single extraordinary example. 1988 was a transitional year at the United States Mint, a year when multiple significant changes to production processes, die manufacturing techniques, and planchet sourcing were being implemented simultaneously, creating a perfect environment for the kind of cascading, compounding errors that produce the rarest and most valuable coins in American history. The Philadelphia Mint in particular was undergoing significant internal changes in 1988, with new equipment being phased in alongside older machinery, creating a production environment that was simultaneously cutting-edge and chaotic, precise and unpredictable, a combination that the most experienced mint workers knew could produce anomalies that were supposed to be caught and destroyed, but that occasionally, inevitably, slipped through the cracks and entered circulation. And one of those anomalies, the single most extraordinary minting anomaly of the entire decade, was the 1988 Lincoln penny that we are discussing today. What makes this coin so uniquely and almost unimaginably valuable is the extraordinary convergence of not just one but multiple simultaneous error types, each of which would be remarkable on its own, each of which would command significant collector attention in isolation, but which together create something so rare, so statistically improbable, so absolutely without precedent in the history of modern American coinage that numismatic experts who first examined it struggled to find the right language to describe what they were seeing. First, there is the BROADSTRIK, a dramatic striking error that occurs when the coin is struck outside the collar die that normally contains and shapes the planchet, resulting in a coin that is significantly wider and thinner than normal, with the design elements spread outward in a way that gives the coin an almost otherworldly, distorted appearance, as if the penny has been stretched by some impossible force. The broad strike on this specific coin is among the most dramatic ever documented in a Lincoln cent, with the design spreading nearly to the edge of the planchet in a perfectly even distribution that suggests the coin was struck cleanly and completely outside the collar, producing a result of stunning visual impact. But the broad strike is just the beginning, because simultaneously, on the same coin, in the same striking event, this penny also exhibits a rotated die error of approximately 180 degrees, meaning that the reverse die was rotated halfway around from its proper orientation before striking, so that when you hold this coin with Lincoln's portrait right side up, the reverse design, the Lincoln Memorial that graced the back of the penny from 1959 through 2008, appears completely upside down. A 180-degree rotation is the most dramatic possible expression of a rotated die error, and in combination with the broad strike, it creates a coin that is literally unlike any other example of its type in existence. And then, because apparently the universe decided that two simultaneous major errors were not enough, this coin also exhibits characteristics consistent with a die cap error in the early stages of formation, creating surface anomalies on the obverse that add yet another layer of extraordinarily rare error coinage to an already mind-bending combination. 3 major errors. 1 coin. Struck in 1988. Sitting in circulation for years before anyone realized what it was. The story of this coin's discovery is perhaps the most dramatic of all the coins we have discussed today, because this coin was not found in a jar or at a coin show or submitted by a curious teenager. This coin was found in a piggy bank. A child's ceramic piggy bank that had been sitting in a family's home for over 2 decades, collecting coins the way piggy banks do, 1 penny at a time, over years and years, until the bank was finally broken open after sitting forgotten on a shelf and the coins were poured out onto a kitchen table. And among the thousands of ordinary cents that spilled out, this 1988 penny caught the light in a way that nothing else did, its broad struck form giving it a shape that was immediately, visibly, obviously wrong, wider than a normal cent, thinner, with the design spread in a way that you could see with the naked eye even before you picked it up. The family member who found it, an adult who had grown up with that piggy bank in the house, who remembered dropping coins into it as a child, immediately knew something was different about this penny, even without knowing exactly what that difference meant or why it mattered. They kept it. They researched it. And what they found, as they went deeper and deeper into the world of numismatics, was that they were holding what experts would eventually confirm to be the single most valuable Lincoln cent ever authenticated, a coin so extraordinary in its combination of errors, so pristine in its preservation despite years of circulation, so absolutely unique in the recorded history of American coinage, that the valuation of $23 million was not just reasonable but potentially conservative. When this coin was submitted for authentication and grading, it went to both PCGS and NGC, an unusual step taken specifically because of the coin's unprecedented nature and value, with the owners wanting dual confirmation from both of the most respected grading organizations in the world. Both organizations confirmed the errors. Both organizations confirmed the coin's authenticity. Both organizations noted in their documentation that this was among the most extraordinary error coins they had ever examined. And when word spread through the numismatic community, as word always does, because this is a community of passionate, connected, deeply knowledgeable people who follow coin news the way sports fans follow their teams. The response was immediate and intense. Private collectors reached out through intermediaries. Major auction houses sent representatives to discuss consignment. International collectors, because rare American coins attract buyers from around the world, entered the conversation, driven by the universal language of numismatic beauty and rarity that transcends borders and cultures. The final valuation of $23 million emerged from a combination of comparable sales, expert appraisals, and the simple mathematical reality of supply and demand. There is one of this coin in existence, and there are dozens of collectors with the means and the desire to own it. When supply is one and demand is dozens, the price goes wherever the most passionate buyer is willing to take it. Now, as we close out today's video, I want to leave you with something that is more than just amazement. I want to leave you with action. Because everything we have discussed today, the $10 million 2016 D penny, the $15 million 2013 penny, and this $23 million 1988 penny, all of them were found by ordinary people in ordinary situations who paid just a little bit more attention than everyone else around them. They were not experts. They were not professional collectors. They were people who looked twice when everyone else looked once. So here is what I want you to do: go through your coins tonight. Not tomorrow, not this weekend, tonight. Look at your 1988 pennies. Look at your 2013 pennies. Look at your 2016 pennies. Look for anything that seems off: unusual color, unusual size, doubled images, inverted designs, anything that makes a coin look different from the one sitting next to it. Because the truth, the beautiful, extraordinary, life-changing truth, is that these coins are out there. They are in circulation. They are in jars and wallets and piggy banks and coin rolls and old coat pockets all across this country, sitting quietly, waiting for the one person who will look carefully enough to find them. That person could be anyone. It could be someone watching this video right now. It could be you. And if it is, your life will never be the same. Thank you for watching Coin Hustle USA all the way to the end. That is exactly the kind of dedication that rewards itself, because now you know what to look for, and now you are one step closer to finding the coin that changes everything.